Welcome to Fear and Greed, business news you can use. Today, the Federal Liberal Party is set to drop its net zero target in its emissions policy. Commonwealth Bank's share price tumbles as investors buy into its competitors, and social media giants use marketing tools to identify younger users. Plus, foreign visitor arrivals into Australia finally return to pre-COVID levels, and the original Australian food delivery service, Menulog, to close down. It is Thursday, the 13th of November 2025. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
A bit happening today, Sean. The main story this morning, the Liberal Party is set to join its coalition partner, the Nationals, in dropping any reference to net zero in its emissions policy.
Following a marathon 4 hours and 45-minute party room meeting yesterday, no final decision was announced, but a vote on the net zero debate will be held today. At yesterday's meeting, 49 MPs spoke out, and according to media reports, 28 wanted to abandon any mention of net zero, 17 wanted to keep it, 4 were unclear. Opposition leader Susan Lee's main rival, Angus Taylor, backed calls to dump net zero emissions, as did her main numbers person, Alex Hawke. So too, apparently, did Lee's deputy and shadow treasurer, Ted O'Brien. Liberal leadership aspirant Andrew Hastie said a future coalition government should be prepared to hold a double dissolution election over repealing Labor's climate legislation, though they walked that back later in the day, while moderates Andrew Bragg and Jane Hume urged the Liberal party room to keep a net zero target. Now, Taylor was Energy Minister in the Morrison government when Australia committed to net zero at the Glasgow COP summit in 2021. Media reports suggest Taylor still wants to reduce emissions, but doesn't want the targets. Moderates who support keeping net zero as a target by 2050 argued that the party risked losing younger voters. Party Federal Secretary Andrew Hurst presented polling showing most voters saw net zero as a proxy for climate change action.
I'm kind of struggling to figure out what this all means politically. Is the electorate going to care about this, or is this really more about Susan Lee's leadership, do you think? Is that the big thing here?
It's totally about Susan Lee's leadership. The electorate will care. Net zero does matter to a lot of people, but let's face it, that last election, they were absolutely shellacked.
Yeah.
Now, she struggled to maintain discipline in the party since then. The vote today won't exactly help her claim to the leadership, given that she's actually on the wrong side of the vote, presuming it goes ahead and net zero is dropped. A handful of Conservative Liberals, including Taylor, actually, did you say they arrived at yesterday's meeting in an obvious show of unity? They walked through the corridors in Parliament House.
Yeah. It had all the hallmarks of a leadership battle. You see that in a Labor, Liberal, any party, when they have their numbers behind them, that is what they do when they're heading in to vote on the leadership. It felt like this was actually a proxy for a leadership battle. Yeah,
in the end, no vote. They will vote today on net zero. Lee probably will make it till Christmas, but next year I think she's probably at long odds now to actually make it beyond, kind of the first 6 months of next year.
And that's just to survive as the leader,
yeah,
let alone actually then trying to unite a party and put forward a platform that is going to appeal to voters who were alienated at the last election.
Yeah, that's right. We've discussed this. The opposition is an absolute mess at the moment.
Yeah, and we need a strong opposition.
Totally. It's bad for Australia when the opposition is weak.
Indeed. Now, away from politics, Sean, the slide in Commonwealth Bank's share price continues, with the ASX's largest company now down 10% in the past 5 sessions.
And most of that has been in the past 2 sessions. Combank's quarterly update on Tuesday morning was a touch softer than expected. Analysts are worried about profit margin pressures. But the shift away from Commonwealth Bank has been going on for much longer than the last 5 sessions. It is marked and it is drastic. In this financial year, the 2026 financial year, Westpac, the second largest bank, its share price is up 20%, ANZ 33%, National Australia Bank up 9%, Commonwealth Bank off, as in down, 13%. Not that long ago, we were saying the market cap of CBA wasn't far off the total value of the other 3 combined. No longer. It's still huge. It is, you put Westpac and National Australia Bank market cap together, you get to about where Commonwealth Bank is. But wow, it is coming back to the pack.
It's funny because we were talking a while ago about the big switch, the big rotation out of the banks and into the miners and things, but it's as though it's just out of Commonwealth Bank and into the other banks.
Yes, and we did kind of make mention of that then, that initially it was out of the banks, but it really was out of Commonwealth Bank specifically.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. Those are incredible stats. What about the rest of the ASX yesterday?
S&P ASX 200 closed down a touch to just under 8,800 points. Iron ore and gold prices rose. That helped some of the miners. Crude was also higher, helped the local energy stocks. Life 360, worst on the ASX 200, down 13%. After investors digested Tuesday's trading update, which showed user growth numbers came in less than expected.
Okay, we have a fair bit to cover today, Sean. We'll take a quick break. Back in a moment with the rest of the day's business news. Sean, the social media ban for under 16-year-olds is now less than a month away, and online platforms are beginning to contact teenagers to tell them they need to make a decision about the data that's in their accounts.
Over 1 million accounts are likely to be pinged in coming days, with users offered a choice of downloading data, freezing profiles, or losing the lot. The world first ban kicks in on 10 December. TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, they're set to deactivate accounts, according to Reuters. Now, social media companies are actually going to lean on software they already have to guess age-based engagement, and that's through the use of likes, for instance, rather than actually verification of birth dates.
That's incredible. So it's
kind of cool.
It's demographic profiling.
Yeah, absolutely. So they know what, likes, well, broadly.
Yeah.
There might be a meme or there might be a video.
Yeah.
Who likes that?
Yeah.
Actually reflects ages.
Because the stuff that you and I like is vastly different because we like stuff that's uncool. Okay, fine. I like stuff that's uncool and I like trains.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find a 15-year-old liking a steam train picture.
Remember all the furor from these guys, from the social media guys saying, we can't do it. It's going to cost us tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, this software is long established.
Yeah.
It's actually developed for marketing purposes.
They've already got it.
Yeah. And age assurance apps will only be used when users complain of being incorrectly blocked.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they've pretty much got the software there already. The social media giants say that Australia's remaining 20 million social media users can expect little interruption. Though, I would love to be asked my age because of my likes.
Wouldn't that be funny if you can actually just see what it thinks you are?
Yeah.
It's like, Sean, you are...
acting like a 14-year-old boy. A child.
That is fantastic. Now, Australia and Indonesia, Sean, will sign a new security agreement that calls for the two countries to consider a joint response if either one comes under attack.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced the treaty alongside Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. He said it is based on one signed by Paul Keating and President Suharto 30 years ago. The treaty will commit Australia and Indonesia to consult at a leader and ministerial level on a regular basis on matters of security to identify and undertake mutually beneficial security activities. That's all according to Albanese. He said it's a major extension of existing security and defence cooperation. President Prabowo said the treaty reaffirmed Indonesia's determination to enhance its friendship with Australia as partners and close neighbours.
How about this one? Foreign visitor arrivals to Australia have finally returned to pre-COVID levels. It took a little while, but it's been helped by strong traffic from New Zealand.
And about time, Michael. Short-term arrivals rose more than 10% in the year to September, according to the Bureau of Stats. Almost 697,000 people, visitors, 1.1 million Australians returning from overseas. New Zealand accounted for nearly 20% of arrivals. China remains below pre-pandemic levels. But like UK, Singapore, India, South Korea, Indonesia, they've all surpassed 2019 figures.
Okay. There's been a wealth of economic data.
It has.
It's been, and every time that happens, whenever we get a week like this, your eyes light up.
Oh, yes, it's fun.
A little bit. Combank's Household Spending Insights Index rose in October for the 13th straight month. Who said 13 was unlucky?
Combank, via its debit and credit card data, gets a pretty good read on what consumers are thinking, what they're doing. The index rose again last month, strongest gains in transport, motor vehicles and hospitality. Over the past year, the biggest gains were in utilities, communications and hospitalities. Now, they were all sectors exposed to inflation. What's kind of interesting now is some of the sectors in the last little bit have not necessarily been inflation linked.
Now, the former CFMEU boss, John Setka, has been charged with attempting to threaten or intimidate the union's administrator.
Setka was arrested in Melbourne yesterday morning, and police said a Footscray man, or how they put it, a Footscray man, i.e. Setka, sent a number of allegedly threatening, offensive and abusive emails to a CFMEU administrator. Media is reporting that police handcuffed Setka and took him from an apartment building, as well as seizing his phone. The charges relate to extremely aggressive and profanity-laced messages Setka sent to CFMEU administrator, or the administration team really, led by Mark Irving KC.
Did you nearly say QC just there? It's taking some getting used to, isn't it?
Yes.
To get out of the habit of a lifetime now, to flip that over to KC. Now, Sean, Menulog, which is the Australian food delivery platform that has had some very high-profile ads. Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, very memorable little jingle there. I was kind of hoping it just burst into song just then. I'm like, no, you're not going to do it.
Refrained.
Yep, you're wise while the tape is recording. It's going to close on the back of hundreds of millions of dollars in losses.
Uber Eats and DoorDash basically have eaten Menulog, alas, or something like that. Menulog was founded in 2006 as a digital marketplace, paired local restaurants with delivery drivers, once Australia's largest online food ordering platform. But it will close its local operations on 26 November after, as it put it, it attempted to navigate challenging circumstances. Really challenging. In 2022, Menulog reported a loss of $275 million. 2023, $110 million. Last year, $32 million. At some point, it's got to give.
Yeah, it's such an interesting sector, isn't it? Because the margins must be so thin on some of these deliveries, and they have so many discounts and offers, free delivery and no service fees and all of that. And we've already lost Deliveroo as well, and Foodora, I think was another one. Right, and really, it's just now left with Uber Eats and DoorDash. And DoorDash is now partnered with Aldi and all of these other ones. And you can see that they are becoming bigger and bigger, and the smaller ones are dropping away. South Korean steel giant POSCO has done a deal to take a 30% stake in two of Mineral Resources' lithium mines for $1.2 billion.
The deal values the assets at $3.9 billion, well above what analysts had calculated. Yesterday, MinRes's share price jumped 9% on the back of it since its low in April after a series of corporate governance failures emerged. MinRes's share price is up 250%, including 20% in the past 3 days. Mineral Resources will retain a 70% interest in the new entity that houses the two mines. It'll continue to operate the mines. POSCO will receive lithium spodumene concentrate proportional to its stake to support its projects. Now, POSCO and MinRes already are partners in the Onslow iron ore project in WA.
Just quickly, it wasn't the only lithium stock to announce a deal yesterday. Liontown Resources inked a new partnership as well.
Sure did. Its share price hit its highest point since the middle of last year, up 6%. The deal is for Metals Hub to run digital auctions of Liontown's spodumene concentrate.
Turning to international news now, Sean, China's cybersecurity agency has accused the American government of orchestrating the theft of about $13 billion worth of Bitcoin, representing China's most recent attempt to attribute major cyber attacks to the US.
Because, of course, China would never have a cyber attack on Australia, on the US or Australia or anywhere else.
No, never. I don't think they've ever even dabbled.
In fact, I think that afternoon report yesterday you were talking about the boss of
the warning from the boss of ASIO saying that this is not just a potential, this is happening now and we are at risk.
Anyway, the theft of 127,272 Bitcoin tokens from the Lubian Bitcoin mining pool that took place in December 2020 is one of the largest crypto heists ever. The hack, according to the Chinese National Computer Virus Emergency Response Center, mouthful, is likely a state-level hacker operation led by the US. It said that the quiet and delayed movement of the stolen Bitcoin fits a government-level action rather than a typical criminal behaviour. The report links the stolen Bitcoin once from Lubian, once one of the largest Bitcoin mining operations in the world, with tokens that were confiscated by the US government. Now, the US said they're associated with a Cambodian group, but very murky. Very murky.
Yeah, good luck keeping that one straight. Last one, Sean. Legendary investor Warren Buffett has penned one of his final letters to shareholders saying he's going to speed up his plans to give away as much of his $150 billion personal fortune to his children's philanthropic foundations.
They'll get quite the boost, won't they?
Oh, yeah.
The 95-year-old wrote that his 2 daughters and 1 son were at their prime in respect to experience and wisdom, but they weren't yet old. Couldn't agree more. They range in age from 67 to 72.
Wise, not old. I like that.
Makes me look very young.
Oh, yeah.
Buffett will step down from Berkshire Hathaway at the end of the year, and this week said he will soon be going quiet. Really? I don't know whether he ever will. I quote him, "Though I move slowly and read with increasing difficulty, I'm at the office 5 days a week where I work with wonderful people. Occasionally, I get a useful idea, or I'm approached with an offer we might not otherwise have received." Warren Buffett is still the man.
He is.
Without doubt. He's still the legend. Buffett's annual letters to shareholders became part of his legend. They're kind of a little bit of economic analysis, a little bit of investment advice, leadership maxims, personal stories, and then he actually goes into all the assets that he owns. He's led Berkshire for 60 years. Finishing up in a few weeks, he will definitely be missed.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. Okay, up next is Fear and Greed Q&A, all about the economy today. And we talked about the wealth of economic data before, and we're going into that in a little bit more detail about what we can actually glean from it and what it means for the outlook. It's coming up next in the Fear and Greed playlist on your podcast platform or at fearandgreed.com.au. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Thursday, the 13th of November, 2025. Make sure you're following the podcast and please join us online on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was Fear and Greed. Have a great day.